Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Franchise Pearson, and welcome again to my channel. It is January 2nd of 2026. I got to get used to saying that. I wonder, did I say 2025 yesterday? I probably did. I probably did, because I had to think about this. But yeah, it's Friday. Happy Friday, 9:28 in the a.m. Let's say it together. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. We are here because of divine love. Yes. It is by grace that we are saved and not of ourselves. Seek the Holy Spirit on a daily basis. Ask Him to cover you in His blood. And then for the angels to help in your direction and shield you. We are one day closer to that day when He is coming. People, I smell a rat. And I believe a lot of you guys smelled a rat toward the end of the year when this Minnesota fraud thing initially came out. Matter of fact, there was someone in the comments that said, I do believe that this thing was allowed to go at least 7 to maybe 10 years unchecked. And it fell on deaf ears. The mounds of information presented. So that now, not just in Minnesota, but broadly throughout all 50 states, they would crack down on healthcare fraud, which is legit. There is fraud. But what I feel is that the person was saying that this will hurt Americans. And, Trump just announced on the 30th, December 30th, that he's going to delay any funding coming to any state until they can prove, they can verify. As the rappers say, hold up. The question is, how long will the pause for the cause be? And is this a situation where you don't let a crisis go to waste, especially if you are part of it? I started to get up and do a video around 1 or 2 a.m., then I decided not to. I'm kind of glad I didn't now because, well, let me share with you. I did some research last night because I wanted to find out the exact date that Governor Tim Walz had began his term. And then I found out that the previous governor, I forgot his name offhand, but between those two governors, this is when this fraud, waste, and abuse transpired. Also, I did the research on the lieutenant governors, and it's the same as well. So we have at least 2 governors over the last 10 years, and 2, maybe 3 lieutenant governors. And again, the question is, why did it go so long that now a YouTuber can put the information out and now you can extract the match? You have an inferno, and now here comes Donald Trump on his horse. Let's just freeze everything, not just in Minnesota, but all 50 states. People, I smell a rat. You see, because I've said before, like you have said before, I had a lot of people in the comment section, a lot of emails saying, look, I've been screaming about this thing from 5 to maybe 10 years. Can you imagine living in a state where you got proven information, you're a whistleblower, and you are working side by side with a colleague, and you guys know it's a water cooler conversation. You're looking side to side every year like, when? When are you guys going to do something? We've alerted you to the fraud, but we're still signing the checks. Can you imagine living in that environment? And families got PTA, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, church, meetings, vacation, social clubs, go to bars. It had to be throughout the town in Minnesota. And maybe trickled out into other states because people, we do travel and we can internet. I wouldn't be surprised if they knew about it in Tokyo. Or maybe Japan. Was it Japan? that during the election, that Tim Walz got a lot of criticism. He spent so much time in Japan. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure you will. Wasn't Tim Walz married in Japan, China? One of them Asian. So I remember covering that campaign. They said he spent too much time in an Asian country. And not enough time answering why there's fraud, waste, and abuse, allegedly. But people, let's go into this thing because this stinks to high heaven. And let me throw this one aspect. When I was laying there contemplating doing this video last night, I was like, Pearson, this is the type of power whereby no matter what you do and what you say, it's at a caliber level where allegedly everybody going down the line from the rooter to the tutor was like, hey, let me just go to work and mind my business. People, you got to look at it like that. You have to. Because when you have 2 governors, 2 lieutenant governors, and a slew of workers in Minnesota, I'm not counting those who were whistleblowers. I'm just saying those who just went to work knowing, but like, hey, my coworker, I've been talking about it for 3 to 5 years. What the hell? What can I do? Paralyzed. Can you imagine justice being paralyzed? Forget about having the cuffs in front of you. They put the cuffs on the people who could do something about it. But who is they? Who is this unchecked power? You got to ask that question. That's the question that has to be asked. Let's just say it's 7 years. What unchecked power in America allowed people who are reporting on this for nothing to be done? And a reporter comes in from YouTube. Ain't hating on him. I'm just saying. It could have been Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse. Could have been me reported it. But why now? It's gotta be in the level, in the context of power. Because you know the governor had to be informed. They had to pull his ear. Come on, man. Come on, governor. Come on. That's power. What unchecked power that's out here that's got to be over the whole state, which allowed this to go down. Once we can get to that, then we know we on the right trail. Until then, it looks like this was allowed to happen for a fiendish plan. Reminds me of my day. Reminds me of my day when I was a kid. I watched a lot of cartoons. I want to say it was Simon by Sinister. You know, those devilish cartoons where you see that one person is always getting away with murder. Or was it Underdog? I don't know. Put it in the comment section. Maybe Dog Pound can help me. He watched a lot of cartoons. But baby, look, people. And then, let me say this to you again. I found it interesting. Like I said, I started to get up last night. I found it very interesting that both Elon Musk and the Vice President, J.D. Vance, also tweeted, which arguably allowed Nick Shirley's video to just explode. I want you to ask yourself, and again, I'm not hating on Nick Shirley. Stop sending me those emails. I just erase them. I don't want to deal with that. You got to deal with others' issues because I told you it's bigger than him. But you got to wrap your mind around what I'm trying to tell you here. What would make, and have you ever seen the so-called, they say, richest man in the world alongside arguably the second most powerful person in the world, J.D. Vance. Under the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, Donald J. Trump. Somebody say glory. They sent a tweet. Why would a billionaire send a tweet? Why would a vice president send a tweet? Once I show you this video and you get done watching the video and watching my video, I think that's when it's going to hit you. Because it seemed like, allegedly, everything's working in concert. La 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 la. Merry Christmas, America. We should have known, allegedly, that this devil got something up his sleeve, baby. The vice president and Elon Musk? It appears to me this whole thing was contrived. At the beginning and at the end. Blow it up. Now we can go after all 50 states, from the rooter to the tutor. And you thought that Elon Musk just stopped his investigation with the Doge team when he left after him and Donald Trump was getting into it. That's what they told us. Is this not another form of Doge? I want you to ask that question. Go beyond Nick Shirley and ask yourself these questions. It hit me in the wee hours of the morning. I'm like, Lord, this is making some kind of sense. Elon Musk and the vice president? Ain't the first time Elon done tweeted. He loved tweeting. That's what he do. But I smell a rat. And you should smell a rat too. There's a song from back in the day. Make it funky, da-na-na, make it funky, da-na-na, make it funky, da-na-na, make it funky. James Brown, Godfather of Soul. Make it funky. Make it funky. Make it funky. They done made it funky, baby. We should be able to see. I don't think all this came in harmony and in sequence by accident. I think this was a long-term plan. Without further ado, let's get on this here. Let's get on this. I want you to see a video put out by a few content creators. And you guys have sent me stuff like this. Same thing. There is a Somalian lady talking about her health care being cut. And then she said something. Trying to wait for the ambulance to go past. Every time you turn around, there's an interruption or a disruption. Dum 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 dum. Come on, ambulance! Was it the fire department this time? Pearson, don't be so insensitive. It's an emergency. Well, I got that migrant church down the street with thousands of them in there. That's the reason why I believe we get so many ambulances around here. Anyway, listen.
My name is Deco Noor. I'm a parent who receives federal funding for childcare for my kiddo. Over 20,000 kids will lose access to childcare programs. And that 20,000 thousands of children rely on childcare, and thousands of parents rely on childcare. Therefore, if childcare will, oh my God. I'm currently a medical student. I rely on childcare. I work If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
Woo! Then all over the internet, not only are they talking about that, they talking about that pear-shaped diamond ring. You go, girl. You come to America. Do your thing. Eddie Murphy ain't got jack on her. Straight up. She ain't, as a young folks say, she ain't capping. She ain't capping. I'm trying to get with the program. Now, let's look at another one. Because this is ridiculous. You know, I used to say this is crazy and quazy with a Q. How about ridiculous? Ridiculous. There's such a word? This is ridiculous.
What's up, y'all? What y'all doing? Girl, I guess you're supposed to look over the script before you read it.
Over 20,000 kids will lose access to childcare programs. And
See, even the child knew you was lying. He said, "You're lying."
that 20,000 of children rely on childcare, and thousands of parents rely on childcare. Therefore, if childcare will, oh my God.
The reason why you can't read it because you're lying and you're nervous. Who put this girl up to this? It was like, take your time. You can do it. Just do it the way we rehearsed it, okay? Just do it. Somebody take the phone. She can't do it. Whatever y'all put her up to, she can't do it. Take the phone.
Is cut. I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
She was shocked, like, what the what?
Fraud is bad. I'm telling y'all, this has got to be an extension of Doge. I believe that they stopped Doge to give us an impression that they had stopped. And they pumped the brakes. And the media was either complicit or fell for it, just like a lot of us, because they told us it was over with. Then they've been finding ways to still do cuts, or quote unquote allegedly attempt to do cuts in the future. And that's why I say this is an extension of Doge. This is really what they want to do. I see that chainsaw that was brought out by Elon Musk. That's what I see in my spirit. I see it in my mind's eye. Doge never stopped, people. Don't you ever get it twisted. This Minnesota fiasco was allowed to go down unchecked by a power, an unseen hand, bigger than the governor, lieutenant governor, and everybody who complained, for such a time as this. That's what I believe. And we had the impression that Doge stopped, but now I believe we see the real one. And what is the real one? Listen to this. All 50 states about to get the microscope. Listen.
Trump administration announced it is freezing federal child care funding to all states, with the Health and Human Services Department saying states will need to prove that the money is being spent legitimately. The move comes after the administration froze payments to Minnesota following allegations of fraud at daycare centers there. The governor of Minnesota, Democrat Tim Walz, says while there have been cases of fraud, this is not a new issue. Walz says the state has been cracking down on fraudsters for years, and the president is politicizing the issue to defund programs that help Minnesotans. In our area, Washington gets in total over $400 million, and in Idaho, around $131 million a year in federal funding for child care and early childhood development. And that money goes toward things like Head Start and to lower the cost of childcare for low-income families. As of now, it's unclear how the pause could impact these programs. A spokesperson with the HHS saying it's the onus of the state to make sure that these funds, these federal dollars, taxpayer dollars, are being used for legitimate purposes.
You mean to tell me? Let me put this in perspective. April 11th, 1953. April 11th, 1953. Now, I've done videos on this care thing, and I've shown other dates when certain things began, like SNAP. We got different dates. But arguably, programs, SNAP and all of them, they've been out for generations. You want to tell me that the checks and balances couldn't get it done? Probably not. Put it in. I would bet, because I did get a few emails and in the comment section, I would bet that there's fraud in all 50 states. The question is, how much? Timber! They're trying to kill America, baby. Don't get this twisted. They're trying to kill it. And I'm not saying it's wrong to go after cheats. What I'm saying is, why now? Timber! Genuine. I took the date that Trump started freezing the money versus the day that services started to help, and the anniversary right here. December 30th, Trump froze it for all 50 states until they get this audit together, or they can prove state by state. April 11, 2026 is the anniversary of when these funds and this department started. The difference is 3:16. John 3:16 talks about sacrifice. Now I want you to Google this. You got some homework to do. I want you to put in Trump to crack down on healthcare verification date and month. This will blow your mind. Put that in your Google search and see what comes up. Put this right here. This line right here. They had a plan on the books already under the big, beautiful bill. Let me powder my face as I do this. The big and beautiful bill, BBB 222. People, we might not agree on every analysis that I come up with, but we place our feet here in America. We are held accountable at our job on a daily basis, and the checks and balances are put in place many times to keep us honest, that when an audit is done, we have something to go against. How in the hell did we get here? Like I started, there's got to be a hidden hand of power, which drove us to this point. And now you have a lady
If childcare is
who was either in on it, or they gave her a script and she read it without rehearsing it. Let's hear it again, because I know it's tripping you out.
My name is Deco Noor. I'm a parent who receives federal funding for childcare for my kiddo. Over 20,000 kids will lose access to childcare programs. And that, that thousands of children rely on childcare, and thousands of parents rely on childcare. Therefore, if childcare will, oh my God. I'm currently a medical student. I rely on childcare. I work. If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
I understand fraud is bad. I wonder if she's getting free funding or discount for education while you and I pay back student loan. I wonder what's really going on. We're being set up, people. And this is just another clever way to do it. This could not be a error socially. And again, I want you to ponder, why would Elon Musk and the vice president tweet Nick Shirley's video? All things in concert. And now Trump lowers the boom. All 50 states. Let me check it out. And again, don't get it twisted. We should have been doing fraud checks anyway. Now the Fed is involved. That sounds like a dictatorship to me. That sounds like daddy got to run everything since we couldn't run it. But suppose the whole thing was a plot. That's an equal, a greater danger. God bless.